This is the last scheduled session with journalists on the London summit. The journalists attending represented Italy, the Czech Republic, France and the Netherlands.
As you know, yesterday Czech government lost a non-confidence vote in the parliament. And do you think that the Czech government will be able to play its role at the G20 summit, being as a president of EU? And secondly, what would you say to Czech Prime Minister Topolánek, who today in the European Parliament described the American way of saving global economy and fiscal stimulus, very much supported by Britain, as a road to hell?
In respect of the responsibilities of the Czech government, they are profound and serious responsibilities. And the good thing is that whatever the domestic politics in the Czech Republic, and I'll be in the Czech Republic tomorrow and Friday and Saturday for the meeting of EU foreign ministers, so I'll get a sense of this myself. Whatever the internal politics in the Czech Republic, the Czech government has been sent to the G20 summit by all 27 European governments with a very clear mandate. And I think it's very important that the Czech authorities do fulfill that mandate, because there's a very important European voice that needs to be heard at the London summit.
What kind of results would you expect for the G20 meeting to be a real success?
Well, I think the G20 has some very specific tasks that were given to it by the Washington summit. The G20 summit in Washington tasked 4 working groups to look at issues of financial regulation, 47 different, very detailed questions of financial re-regulation and representation. So that's important. I think that there are clearly issues in the macroeconomy to do with the IMF, its organisation, but also its resources. Japan has pledged $100 billion to the IMF. The European Union pledged $100 billion on Friday. Those are significant sums of money that are preemptive, so that the IMF is able to play a fuller role. I do think it's important that that trade is recognised as an important issue. This isn't the body that will decide the future of the trade round, but it needs to put a very significant emphasis on that. And I do think the fact that this is a summit that has 85% of the world's income represented there means that the voice of the developing countries, the poorer countries, will be heard.
What are the main difficulties on the way?
I think the biggest difficulty is this is a fast-changing situation. The shape of the economic crisis today is not the same as the shape of the economic crisis when the London summit was agreed upon in November. So that means that we've got a moving target. And nations are making decisions, some of which are having impact, some of which have yet to have impact. But the most difficult thing structurally is that it's a moving target, and the length and the breadth and the depth of this economic crisis is only slowly becoming evident.
But the fact is that the Americans want the Europeans to do more, and there is not much political leeway, it seems, at this stage for the Europeans to do much more.
But one issue is that in Europe we have an automatic fiscal stimulus. As unemployment goes up, the budgetary support for the unemployed goes up more in some countries than in others. And I think that's part of the package. So I honestly think that there's a bit of a false dichotomy being painted here. We all know that if only one country, even if it's the US, does a fiscal stimulus, that's not going to be enough. But equally, we've got all countries doing it. I mean, I spoke to the South Koreans. They've got a fiscal stimulus. So the question of what happens next, obviously in different countries, it depends on the different budgetary situation. But given that we're all open trading countries, we depend on each other. Nice to meet you.
The G20 Economic Summit is on April the 2nd.
Thanks a lot. Good. I hope this makes you famous on YouTube.